Padres Hot Tub is your online community, ever growing, and we are so thankful for everyone who listens to our show and to everybody who forms our community via patreon.com/Padres Hot Tub. Guys, we're now a YouTube show, YouTube channel. Look up Padres Hot Tub. Follow us, subscribe there. We, of course, are the audio channel, the podcast that we've been for so many years. And we're a Patreon community, patreon.com/Padres Hot Tub, where we now have a website, padreshottub.com. And if you're watching on the video, ta-da, we are equipped with a merchandise store. Padres Hot Tub t-shirts now available with our classic Travis Peterson punk rock paint designed logo on your choice of white, or as we are sporting, the heather gray, the light gray. Gentlemen, Chris, how do you feel about being so adorned in your hot tub merch?
I'm loving it. I can't wait for the first person I see in public who goes, "Oh, you listen to Padres Hot Tub." I'm genuinely looking forward to it. I know it's going to happen. I've been spending my first couple days on my feet, Craig, fulfilling our obligations to our big and huge patrons. And I've been writing little notes and giving some Trent Grisham cards away. And it's felt freaking great because these are the people supporting us. It feels good to bring joy to those who bring joy to you. And that's what our Patreon subscribers get, is a whole basket of joy.
Yeah, we make sure, our simple credo is to make sure that if you're joining us at the $5 level, that it's $5 that you never regret each month. If you join us at the $12 level, it's $12 you don't regret. And if it's at the $30 level, it's $30 you don't regret. Huge patrons get first dibs on everything we do. I'll give you an example. The most coveted series so far of the year, Padres Dodgers at Petco Park this weekend. I'm going to be bringing huge patrons and our huge patron Gooch and his family to that game. That's one of those first dibs that you get as a huge patron, as a big patron. Chance to go to ball games with us, chance to get your own free merch and more. Check it out. We'll stop talking about it. You can start checking it out. Patreon.com/Padres Hot Tub. Welcome to the Padres Hot Tub, everybody. Craig Elsten, Chris Reed, Raphie Cantor back with you, recording one day later than normal. We're doing this on a Tuesday night. Normally, we're a Monday night show. We are a YouTube program as well. Thanks to everybody who is watching us here. Make sure you smash the follow button, that you click like on this one. You subscribe to everything that we are doing. We appreciate your patronage, whether it's video, audio, whether you have asked somebody to transcribe this podcast and you are reading it in any way that you consume our content. We are deeply thankful for you. Gentlemen, we record a night late because Monday night I was at Tatismas. I was at the second opening day, what I believe is the true opening day. What I think the first one was a complete false flag event with actors in every single role. This was the real opening day, and what a day it was. It's great to see you guys.
What was James Marsden there? there's a show right now where there's a juror who's been tricked. I don't like these types of shows. I don't like people getting tricked. But he's been tricked to thinking he's on a jury, and James Marsden is the one famous person on this jury.
I'm watching that jury duty on Freevee. Yeah, I'm actually watching that. And yes, that is correct. There was one person in that entire stadium who actually thought it was opening day, and it was Corey Stewart. So Corey, tough break for you, brother. But yeah, we've got a lot to talk about tonight. We're going to recap Tatis's return. We are recording right at the end of Tuesday's game, so we're going to mix that in as the result comes to us. We're going to talk about Mexico City and two dynamic games south of the border, and we'll get into a couple of the nagging details of the season so far. Chris, your thoughts on seeing Fernando Tatis Jr. for the first time with this team at Petco Park for the first time since October 2021, playing in a game where San Diego's fans could shower him with adoration. He ran out to right field. He took a bow. It was just an incredible moment to start the night, and then he took a bow with 3 hits as well.
Dude, I was going to say he made me feel young again, but I don't think I've ever felt that young. Guy sprinting out 350 feet to right field just because he couldn't wait to be out there with the fans. You know, he took a bow running out there tonight. He's embracing his return. He's embracing the people who, you know, have been waiting to cheer for him for a year and a half. And, you know, in the parlance of the youth, the vibes couldn't be better. In the parlance of the 90s, the mojo couldn't be better. It's been a blast of a weekend of Padres baseball. And with his return, it gave us a peek at what the team could be. And we like it.
You know, Raphie, for over a year, there were very valid reasons to be critical and skeptical of Fernando Tatis Jr. You know, he played all of 2021 with a shoulder subluxation that would continue to trouble him. He wouldn't get surgery on it. He got injured in really dubious, questionable fashion. Then, obviously, the steroid suspension. I mean, the ringworm medication. We're a pro-ringworm medication podcast. Pro-labor.
We are not.
Pro-ringworm. Pro-ringworm medication.
In this house.
And there was a lot of reason to be concerned or skeptical. But then you see him back. There's no one like Fernando Tatis Jr. He's a physical specimen. The only thing I can compare him to, quite honestly, is LeBron. Like somebody at a very, very young age that just stands out in ways that are obvious. But the difference is the fun. Tatis brings this joy. He brings this energy, this excitement, and then he brings the talent. You know, on top of all of it, the defensive skill, the athleticism, the ability with the bat, it's transformative is what it is.
Yeah, and we're seeing this really interesting transformation of he's had this incredibly humbling experience, and what we've seen so far in the couple weeks that he's been back is the same energy and fun and athleticism, which we will talk about. You mentioned LeBron, but just like he's just a force of nature on the field, and it's visceral. And when you see him, you know, I was in Arizona to see him come back, and just like there was a play where he almost overran second base and then had to struggle to get back and looked like he might have injured his knee. And it was like this, everything is done at 120%. And also, you know, he's had to eat some humble pie. And there was the Tatis that Machado was yelling at in the dugout in September of 2021, who was, you know, I think especially growing up the way he did and just being told from a very young age that he was just this very special kid and had every reason to believe it. And now having to kind of go through this place where he's been taken down a peg, we still have all that energy and fun and excitement, but not so much the arrogance that I think some people would criticize at a younger age. And I'm just so happy and intrigued to see what we get from Fernando this year.
Well, Tuesday night winds up being the hangover that I think we might have expected Monday night to be, after the party of Mexico City, as we see the Padres' 3 superstars, Tatis, Machado, and Soto, all make out in the bottom of the 10th inning against, by the way, a very good closer, Edwin Diaz's brother, in Cincinnati. He was throwing nasty stuff up there, and Manny almost got him for a liner with one out, but Toddy made out, and Soto got called out on a wicked slider. to end the game. 2-1. Reds win. They got the Manfred man in, the ghost runner, in the 10th, and that was it. A lot of great opportunities tonight for the Padres. And we're going to talk and continue to talk about the fun and the swagger of this team. And I the only thing that I do think about is I remember how much fun and how much swagger there was in 2021. And the one thing about baseball is you can't run too high all the time. You can't be that high all the time because you're going to get knocked off of that. And I don't think there'll be a piñata party tonight. And I've loved the piñata parties, and I want all piñata parties. But, like, it's hard to piñata party every night and do that night after night in Big League Baseball.
162 games in different cities, in 2 different cities every week on average. I can't imagine the grind. They've done a lot of traveling, and I'd imagine the crowd last night for Tatis' return to San Diego was worth a few extra, batteries in their pack.
Yeah, but you're right. I mean, honestly, I thought,
you were there.
I kind of expected a return to earth situation, because quite literally they were 7,300 feet higher in elevation to play a couple of games this weekend. And we've seen the historic nature in terms of Coors Field data of teams leaving Coors Field and having a losing record in their next series because it's difficult to readjust to their more normal hitting circumstance. That did not happen last night, although the Padres weren't socking a bunch of fly ball homers. They were kind of lining the ball, and I think the Reds pitching staff sometimes helps you in that circumstance. Tonight they had a really good starter, Ashcraft, who's been doing really well this year, and that put him into their victory level bullpen relievers. And Reds pitched well, won a game. Congratulations for them. They get revenge in the series. Doesn't really change the direction I feel. I feel like this Padres team is trending up right now.
Yeah, and you mentioned the piñata parties. I'm a big fan of you have to ride a heater when you're at the craps table. That's the number one rule is you don't leave the table if you're on a heater. And so I saw some people, were commenting yesterday. It was like when they got back stateside, I was like, oh, I can't believe they brought the piñata back. Like, we need to be a little bit more humble and everything. And it's like, they're going to be humble tonight. They put up 1 run against the Cincinnati Reds. I think that they were humbled. So I don't think, Craig, you had tweeted out yesterday that this team, it was sometime between now and May 15th was when they were going to turn on. And I think you had said something to the effect of we're back, baby. This is it. And I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but wouldn't you attribute that just to the energy that you saw when you were there last
100%.
night?
Absolutely. Well, that and this weekend, and we've been waiting for this team to click. And now, tonight it didn't happen. Baseball's stupid. You should not watch this sport. You should only listen to us talk about it. That's the best way to basically interact with Major League Baseball. But the thing that really stands out, and being in the stands does reinforce it. Bogarts was not in the lineup tonight, right? Now, one man does not a universe make. Nonetheless, that feeling of relentlessness, when these guys are clicking a little bit, and Tatis has been hitting well, and last night Tatis hit well. Soto, and we're going to talk about him, he is hitting a lot better. I know he punches out looking, and I'm sure Twitter has plenty of blue check marks right now criticizing Juan Soto for taking strike 3, and talking this and that. Nonetheless, he's on now a multi-game, multi-hit streak. Well, a 2-hit per game streak that's looking good. Machado is starting to trend better, starting to get the hits, starting to get the line drives. And then you put Bogarts behind it. And I was there with a couple of friends last night, and a friend of mine and his girlfriend who didn't know baseball that much, but we were looking, shout out Mark Mendenhall, great guy, great golfer, musician as well. And it's this is how it's going to be. That's what we were saying. It's like, this is how it's going to be all summer long. Are games like this. It's not going to be every game, but there's going to be games like this all summer where what are you going to do? The number 8 hitter got on, and now it's Tatis. Don't like that? It's Manny. Don't like that? It's Soto. How about Bogarts? And, there was that time in the 8th inning where they scored and had 2 runs and reloaded the bases for Xander with nobody out. It's like, oh my God, how do you ever stop this? And I mean, obviously the answer is come back the next night. There was some indica inside the piñata maybe last night. I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe not. But it's fun. It's fun. But the point I think I'm trying to drive to, Chris, is the lineup synergy is real. I think there is truly a cumulative effect of having hitters of this talent. It's psychological beyond statistical of having to negotiate that. Once, twice, a third time, they're going to get you eventually. I feel like that's going to be the theme of the summer.
Absolutely, dude. And it's not just starting off the game. Starting off the game, your first pitch is to Fernando Tatis Jr., so you better not screw it up. But then getting into the action of the game, when the bottom of the lineup turns over for the top, when Fernando Tatis Jr. is having a guy on first and second, with nobody outs, like these pitchers, we've seen it. They clam up. They start to lose their control. They start to put more over the middle. Tatis was roping them into the outfield for singles. Eventually, he's going to get that launch angle figured out, and they're going to go in the stands. It is an absolute. The word is from the movie. First Night, where Richard Gere has to run through an obstacle course of deadly things. There's a word for this, gentleman. He has to get it because he wants to get with Sean Connery's wife. He plays Arthur, and he has to run through a gauntlet.
There it is.
Yes.
Of obstacles and impediments. And that's what this Padres lineup is. There's a couple of holes in it, but they're guys that can get on base. Grisham gives you a little bit of pop in that 8 spot. But when you're not guaranteed to face Xander Bogaerts unless somebody gets on, you've got a crazy Mount Crushmore lineup. This is just the start of it, Craig. I know you think that they're firing, and they are. But I really think we're going to see some huge innings. I'm going to know this team is really gelled. Right now, like, all the ingredients are good. It's not quite cooked. It tastes really good. But when it's all cooked, when the alchemy of heat, fuses this team together, I think we're going to see some insane innings, and I think we're going to see some insane winning streaks.
Well, I agree. And, this is going to be generally a wildly optimistic podcast in the fact that we had on in the background our team getting ground slowly into powder by the Reds, 2-1 in 10 innings, is a slight damper on that, especially as it comes as early as it does in the recording process. Nonetheless, prior to that were 3 tremendous wins, 3 really convincing, solid wins, and a really, really good road trip. Since Fernando came back, 3 out of 4 in Arizona, great result. Dropped 2 out of 3 in Chicago. Cubs are playing pretty well right now. You ran into a hot pitcher in one of those games. Okay, it's not great. You live with it. You go to Mexico City, getting that 2-0. I thought that was huge. Not taking the 1-1 out of that series. It was set up for 1-1. The result was playing to that general direction, and they pull out the Sunday game, and they do so on like a goofy blooper that Matt Carpenter hits a mile high in the air, and people were conjuring Colorado with that. I'll tell you right now that Matt Carpenter got that kind of hit for TCU playing at New Mexico, a mile high in Albuquerque, where it blooped in at Isotope Stadium, and he wound up getting a 2-run double. It was that kind of hit. It was a college baseball kind of hit that got them that win on Sunday. So good results coming around, kind of just staying through Monday before we dig more into Mexico City. Blake Snell, first quality start of the season.
Our
Hey,
guy.
Blake.
No walks.
Nobody
No
doubted
walks.
him. Nobody said anything bad in the Discord about Blake Snell. We all believed in you the whole time, buddy.
Well, I mean, it's no longer April. It's now May, so he can be incrementally better, right? But
He
June,
got up,
a
looked
little
at his
better,
calendar, was like, oh shit, I can pitch again.
right? But I mean, July is when we actually expect him to get better, but he'll be a little better in May. And I know I've said on past shows that I'm like kind of looking forward to the Padre team that doesn't have Blake Snell on it because he is a frustrating pitcher to watch. Today he was on the Bally Sports broadcast with Don and Mud, which he's done pretty regularly, and he did kind of a half inning, and he was on the mic when Juan Soto doubled in Manny for the Padres' only run. And every time you hear him talk, like, I want Blake Snell to sign a lifetime contract. Like,
Yeah.
he's delightful. I mean, honestly, and on Banter, we talked a lot about the writer's strike and situation. Like, for this Padres movie, like, you need the Blake Snell character. Like, if he wasn't on this team, you'd need to write him in. The guy who's always in his head, who's goofy, who's funny. He's going to have, like, half the great comic relief lines in the movie. He's got a great C plot as he struggles to find his slider, or, always is bad in the first half and good in the second half. Like he's a great character. And when you set your expectations accordingly, like, okay, it's Blake Snell night. So like 7 innings, 2 hits, no runs, 15 strikeouts. We know that's a possibility, but that shouldn't be your expectation. Your expectation should be it's Blake. He's going to be good for some period of time. He's going to struggle for some period of time. Something's going to work. Something's not going to work. Tonight, the slider doesn't work. Tomorrow, it's only change-ups. Tonight, he's getting hit. Tomorrow, it's going to be 5 walks. And then there's going to be that game, that 1 out of 4, 1 out of 5, where things lock in, and he's just complete nails. And that's the roulette game that you play when you've got Blake Snell on your team. But, I mean, personality-wise, you get why people put up with him. Like, he's not a dick. He's genuinely a cool dude who's funny and goofy and makes for great comedy.
If anything, he's a little too funny and goofy and putting himself out there. That's the knock he gets, He shouldn't be on Twitch at 11 p.m. at night. He should be fingering the baseball, trying to adjust his grip. He should be learning the sweeper, like everybody else. I love it when the dude, and it seems simple, and he talked about this on the broadcast. I love it when the dude attacks the zone. When, as to Raphie's point, he's not walking people. Because when he's getting to those 3-2 counts and then giving the free pass, not only has he got somebody on base, he's driven his pitch count up. I love it when it's first pitch strike. The beginning of this season was a first pitch fastball strike by Blake Snell. And since that moment, I've been convinced they're going to win the World Series because it's the best possible outcome for the first pitch of the season. And then that first pitch strike attacking mentality seemingly went away. And I don't know if it's a mentality. He doesn't seem to think it is. Sometimes he just says he's not great. I thought he looked really good last night. The walk, as long as the walks stay down, I think Blake Snell could turn in a quality start every appearance.
Well, the good news about this club, and again, I think we're seeing it more and more. We see it again even in tonight's game, Raphie. It's like the club is designed to always give this lineup a chance to win the game because there's never really a night that is like, okay, well, this is our rough night. Sure, Michael Wacha has had some terrible starts. Michael Wacha tonight pitched great, right? I mean, he was tremendous. He was A-level Michael Wacha. Lugo, sometimes you've generally gotten good things out of him. The back half of this rotation is designed for that. Even though Nick Martinez is in the bullpen right now, I still count him, within this group of guys who can succeed. And then you've got Musgrove, Snell, and Darvish at the top of it. You're always giving this team a chance. Now, sometimes they'll score 1 run. There was a span of 15 games they got shut out 5 times. I don't think with Fernando you're going to see a lot of those stretches going forward. I think you're going to see a lot of stretches where 4, 5, 6 are getting put up on the reg. 4 runs would have won tonight easy.
Yeah, and I mean, just to go back to Michael Wacha, because we talked about him last week, and there were some jitters and concerns from folks in our Discord about, I don't know about this guy. We just technically gave him a 4-year contract. Like, who knows? And
45 hits in 2 games will do that.
Yeah, and
like
again,
14 of them doubles. You're right. Yeah,
it's the attack of the small sample size. Going into his last start, so before the Cubs start. Hitters had like a 394 BABIP against him. So like everything was falling for a hit. And some of that's just luck and small sample size, And then the last game he had, he induced, some more ground balls because again, Wacha's a finesse ground ball control first pitcher. And I have to pull up his exact line tonight, but I think he gave up 2 hits and on only 3 strikeouts in 6 innings. So tonight was the optimal form of Michael Wacha. It's the one that you're thinking. I mean, obviously because he's limiting the damage, but he's inducing soft contact. He's has ground balls right now going into tonight's game. His ground ball rate was the lowest it's been in his career. When that regression happens, he will look more like the Michael Wacha that we know. So I think that this stuff takes time. And to go to your point. They had a chance this entire game. Like it's like, and up until literally the last breath, I'd have to look at the exact win probability numbers, but you had Tatis, Machado, and Soto come up with the winning run on first base.
Right.
With starting with Tatis with no outs. Like I'll have to look at the graph, but I'm sure like towards the end, like it basically got down. I'm looking at it now. It got down to 50-50 on that Tatis at bat. So, we had a coin flip chance to win that game. And that was with Wacha, who's depending on the day you ask, our 4-starter, our 5-starter, who knows? So, this lineup's built for length, and I have a lot of confidence in it.
One last thing from Monday night's game. It's not going to happen every night, obviously, but Ha-Seong Kim was the hero of the game. Gigantic 3-run homer. He got to smash the piñata afterwards. He got to wear the sombrero in the dugout. He got all the felicidades.
He got a curtain call.
He got a curtain call. And that's kind of where I'm going here, Chris. And I'm interested in both of your guys' take. But I think he's one of the most interesting cats on this entire team. Because we've talked about it. We talked about it in our get-to-know-yous and whatnot. Oh, well, who's your favorite player? Ha-Seong Kim is my favorite player on the Padres. I'm not alone. When I'm at the game, Ha-Seong Kim comes up. They chant his name every single at bat. Ha-Seong Kim. Ha-Seong Kim. He is one of the most popular Padres I have ever seen. And he goes to Eric Owens, Tim Flannery levels of beloved. And the thing is, we've spoken so many times about how this team is so locked in so many positions and so many players are committed to long term. And there's very few places you can even make changes right now in core aspects of the San Diego Padres. And, oh, wow, well, now we locked up Jake Cronenworth. I thought that was a guy we might let go when he got to his arbitration prime. No, we're hanging on to him. So I guess we got to get rid of Kim. We were talking last episode, group therapy. Jackson Merrill. Is Jackson Merrill going to come? Oh, he's going to take Ha-Seong Kim's place in a couple of years. Revolt, riot, pitchforks, torches, pitchforks. Like, this dude is so incredibly popular. If there's anyone you almost want to extend, it's Ha-Seong Kim. He's beloved. He's a mascot. He is a player, and he's good. He's a great defender who comes up with big hits. He brings energy. He brings speed. He's a tricky situation for A.J. Preller and the Padres because his popularity is almost more than his value, and his value is pretty good.
Yeah, it might outweigh it a little bit. Padres fans can identify with Ha-Seong Kim. He's the type of player who would have been a semi-superstar on a lot of the teams of the past.
Absolutely. Or one All-Star. We got to get Kim to the All-Star game, right?
Kim. Just
Vote
look at
Kim.
those highlights. Clutch home runs, diving catches, cannon of an arm. I said early on in my tenure, Craig, that he's the guy that I would love to see a lifetime contract because he's not expensive. He's got a skill set that's going to age really well. He already can't hit, super fast pitches all that well, and he doesn't hit for a ton of power. But those are the things that typically go away kind of as you get older. So I think his baseline is pretty darn set with pretty decent room to grow. And he's just the coolest cat. He fits into the locker room beyond a glove, like an intimate glove, as they called them. Never. Nobody's ever called it an intimate glove. But you guys know what I'm talking about, the intimate glove. They're condoms.
Are we talking? Yeah, I was just going to...
Yeah, that's what Ha-Seong Kim fits like. He fits like a sheepskin condom upon the unit of Padres fandom.
Well, wow.
I was willing to just let you keep going and just see you dig yourself out of that hole.
Oh, no, there was no digging. There was
no
a preparation. There was a preparation
Raphie.
for the hole. There was a preparation.
What are you talking about?
Yeah,
you don't withdraw from the hole.
I mean, eventually, but
but you're right, Craig.
I don't even know where to go from
him.
here.
Say hi
I
to
don't
our
know what they
YouTube
do with
audience.
Ha-Seong.
crumple him up
Mash
in a
that
tissue.
subscribe
Crumple him up
button.
into tissue and bury him in the bottom of the trash can. I mean, what?
Can I switch
The
subjects for
analogy
a
got
second?
too far.
Please, Raphie. I did this to us. You pull us out.
Just
God damn it!
you couldn't even resist. Ha-Seong Kim is weirdly doing well against velocity right now. It's completely not something that will continue because his batting average right now on pitches over 95 miles an hour is 333, but his expected batting average is 186. So he's had the results, but I will say his WOBA was 432, which is Mike Trout level. It's not going to continue. But his expected WOBA is 351, which is above average. So even on the expected stats, like he's doing okay. His on base is incredibly high. It's over 500. So I think that points to him being really selective on pitches over 95 miles an hour and having a good eye and probably taking a lot of walks and therefore getting production on it. But in terms of the plan, for my Formula One fans, we can't take our eye off the ball here. I think that like the Ha-Seong Kim extension is the we already did it. It's the Jake Cronenworth extension. You know what I mean? That was the feel good extension. Right. And if we have another feel good extension, like what are we gonna do? I mean, like it's that I keep constantly being surprised by this front office and by Peter Seidler and thinking like they can't possibly spend this money, and then they do. So I'm not going to say that they're not going to do it because that I've constantly been proven wrong. But truly, it does become that question of like, what do the Padres look like in 2028? Like, what do they look like in 2030? Like, we're still rolling out all these guys. So I think the plan needs to be Jackson Merrill. Like, it's just I need to see him in a Padres uniform, and that is the most logical sense. But I just know in my heart, deep down, that it's not going to happen, and that he's going to be gone soon. So I'll just keep the dream alive.
Garvey, Lopes, Russell, Say, Padres new infield. Machado, Bogarts, Kim, Cronenworth eclipses Garvey, Lopes, Russell, Say for the most continuous infield in Major League history. They just play together for a decade, and it's okay because Fernando Tatis Jr. wins 3 Gold Gloves in right field. I don't know what's more entertaining than watching Fernando play right field, by the way. He's ridiculous.
Did you see his throw tonight?
Yes.
That did not prevent the run, but came damn near close.
So
and the
close.
only reason it didn't is because the ball was too slow off the bat because it was on a dime in Nola's lap. Yeah.
On a dime. That's the thing. That's the one thing. And I only bring it up in the context of Kim for that reason. Like, if there's one thing that makes it work, it's that Tatis really works as an outfielder. Like, it works. When he's embraced it now, he looks like he could truly be the best outfielder in the game.
You just said it, dude. He embraced it this time around. He looks enthusiastic playing out there now when he never had that.
Yeah. Yeah, he looked like a lost puppy out there in 2021. He looked like he was outcast and confused and don't hurt my shoulder. And now he rushes the ball. His closing burst, it truly might be the best in the game. Like today, now, the best in the game. And he's just starting to figure it out there, the angles. But his ability to erase those mistakes with his closing speed is almost unparalleled right now in the league, and to combine it with what he obviously can do at the plate, on the base paths, it's remarkable, and it opens up that conversation about, well, if you did want to lock in a Ha-Seong Kim, you could, and you could see the path for them to be successful for a while. Kim isn't Bogaerts. He's not on the tail end of his career. He's younger than Cronenworth, isn't he, Raphie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you guys see Jake's dance moves yesterday on the piñata party?
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't love this team anymore.
The vibes are immaculate. It's so good. The only thing is they keep because they play the piñata song in the locker room, and the team doesn't have the rights to play it. They keep posting the videos without sound, which sucks. But it's also funny because now people are putting in their own sound. But yeah, no, it's I haven't felt this good watching a team of like we are rooting for these people, like it just to succeed.
Right.
And even non-Padres fans that I know are reaching out to me just to be like, hey, this is a team that's quote unquote bought that I am rooting for, because it just seems like they're having so much fun. You know what I mean?
I do. And this is what they brought to the league. I think it's important to kind of underline this, actually. The swag chain came to the league. Mm-hmm. And everyone was like, F you, Padres. You're so arrogant.
Cocky.
Yeah, cocky kids, too much swagger, swag chain. You got what was coming to you. Historic collapse. Where's that swag chain now? Answer is probably in a safe in Manny's house or something. Like, it's gone. It's not here. It's somewhere. It's not here. But
it's with
now,
the black cat that Sean Mania bought.
Oh my God, that fucking cat. But
yeah, fast forward.
Yeah. I just saw this weekend Byron Buxton hit a homer in Minnesota and then don a fishing coat with a Paw Patrol fishing pole and a sign on the back of the vest that says Land of 10,000 Rakes.
It's incredible. It's awesome.
Yeah,
right?
dude, I'm
You're happy
all
with
about
that.
it. I was one of the old people, Craig. I was one of the people like, this swag chain, it's too much. It makes us stand out. It's ostentatious. But when everybody's doing it, I love it.
I mean, last year I saw Xander Bogaerts hit homers and ride in the laundry cart down the Red Sox dugout. Like, even the Red Sox have their thing. I don't think the Yankees... Do the Yankees have a thing? I don't know if the Yankees have a thing. Yeah,
they compliment each other's cologne. That's it.
And everyone else has a thing.
They shave each other's faces, actually.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Delicately, lovingly. Yeah. Cream, shave.
They exchange business cards.
Right. And the tradition continues. Yeah. So, I mean, the Padres brought this to the league. The rest of the league has it. The Padres went away from it. So I'm not going to Humpty Dumpty even after they only get one run against the Reds and lose. This is us, right? This is us. This is our club. This is what we want to do. It's swagger. It's dancing. That's Tatis. And I do think that there is some small level, like I've got a 0.2 out of 10 on the concernometer about, like, just don't get too high. Don't get too high, because too high leads to too low. Back to Eddie Murray, back to every other, Raphie superstar, right? Don't get too high, don't get too low. That is a baseball axiom. But our team does they kind of like to run a little bit high. Sombreros, lucha masks, piñata parties, Rey Mysterio in the dugout. But I think they've got enough Nelly Cruz, Matt Carpenter, Xander Bogaerts types that it's not going to spin out of control.
No. It's not, and I'm not concerned. And I also am like a big fan of like a team embracing their identity and leaning into it. And if they want to be the sombrero team this year and the team that throws piñata parties and that works for them, then that's awesome. You know, Bob Melvin manages this team, and like I think that if he felt that they were out of line and that this was nonsense, he would lay it down and he would say no, you know. And there's a reason why last year when the team was shitting the bed and they were in Arizona and he waited until, I can't remember if it was August or even September, to have the talk with them where he was basically like, get your head out of your ass. And then they went on a tear. And like, there's a reason Bob Melvin doesn't have that talk with them about a piñata party. It's because he's got one, maybe two, but one of those, you know, bullets in the chamber for the year. And he's going to let these guys who, like you said, are seasoned veterans do their thing because there's a mutual respect there. And if there's ever a point where it gets out of line, I don't think it's going to be Bob Melvin that's going to be the one that needs to tell them that they need to tone it down. I think it's going to be Nelly. I think it's going to be Matt Carpenter. It's going to be the dudes who have been there before, who are going to be just the even keel ballast barometers for the team. And we saw this weekend they were pretty effing incredible in Mexico City.
You know, I'd like to play off of that because AJ Preller can't construct a roster is a fun talking point, and it's even a bit for a couple of the guys in our Discord. They'll admit it's a bit in terms of how they like to hammer that point. One thing that was built this winter that is 100% working in every possible way of how it could work, is the DH platoon of Nelson Cruz and Matt Carpenter. Because, and also, let me start, and we can kind of like go like general vibes, stats, right? Kind of across the board, working to our strengths. But both of these guys are perfect additions to a winning clubhouse. Perfect additions to a winning clubhouse. Both Matt Carpenter and Nelson Cruz have come close and tasted a lot of winning without getting a lot of the big prize in their career. Carpenter has one championship.
Yeah, St. Louis,
with the Cardinals.
Yeah,
that's what I thought. And Nelly, of course, we know. Ron Washington. How do you play Nelson Cruz in right field in the ninth inning of a game you're trying to protect the lead? Like, come on, guy. Come on. Where's your Jose Azocar back then? Like, get somebody out there. Whoever that guy was on your Texas roster. Get that dude out in right field. You've got a championship. Nonetheless, Carpenter hits the ball in the air. Walks. Has one of the lowest ground ball rates on the entire team. Fly balls, doubles, homers, walks, some strikeouts. Can play a little first base. He can play second in a pinch. Look at Nelly Cruz. Nelly Cruz 5-hit game? Nelly Cruz triple? What? Nelly Cruz score from first base twice? Back-to-back games on doubles? Like, you go from veteran leadership, guys who have been there, guys who are in the exact perfect stage of like influencing young players like a Grisham, interacting with prime players like a Machado or a Bogarts, and then being there on the back end, can relate to absolutely everyone, can relate to Melvin, and you've got that combination with like a beautiful situation of, Nelly Cruz can hit lefties. Matt Carpenter can hit righties. But if you see a reverse platoon guy, Nelly Cruz can hang in there against a righty, and Matt Carpenter can hang in there against a lefty and succeed. Both guys have like 16 ribbies. I think the DH position combined leads the Padres by a goodly margin in RBI for the season. This is working. This is really, really working and clicking, and it's great, and it's value. It's everything.
Can I jump in with some stats real quick?
Please.
Okay, DH position so far. You're right about RBI. They actually have double the next highest position They have 30 RBI already this year. The next highest would be Manny Machado at third base with 15 RBI. They are slashing 296, 363 with the 565 slug. That is a 928 OPS with a 152 OPS plus. There is some downside, a little bit of downside. Their BABIP is 382. That's not going to hold up. That's not going to hold up the rest of the year. They've gotten a little bit lucky. We talked a little bit about this on our positive replacement April offense review, but Nelly Cruz is chasing pitches at like a historic rate. His chase rate is first percentile. That's bad. It's 1 to 99, and he is the lowest. His chase rate is bad. His whiff percentage is 6th percentile, and his walk percentage is also first percentile. So he's chasing a lot of pitches. Matt Carpenter, I don't really have much bad to say about. He absolutely crushes fastballs. It is so much fun to watch when people make mistakes over the plate. And all of his underlying stats, like he's not hitting the ball that hard, but like his expected WOBA is 88th percentile. His barrel percentage is 96th percentile. He's incredibly efficient. And the one thing that like he does super well, that he's done his entire career that he hasn't quite done with the Padres is take a ton of pitches. He's you see him working it now. I think last time we checked it was like he's like 4.1 pitches at bat, which is like slightly above average. I think this year it's 3.93 is the average pitch per at bat across Major League Baseball. But like last year with the Yankees, he was at like 4.8 pitches per at bat, which like makes Jurickson Profar looks like child's play. Like it's just like the way that he sees pitchers and is able to work the count. It's working, and it's amazing when you say you do just one thing and you're good at this, and we're only going to ask you to do the thing that you're good at, and it's paying dividends.
Guys,
go ahead.
This has been. I don't want to be hyperbolic because I'm going to drop this again later. This has been the best stretch for Padres designated hitters in team history.
No, that's true. That's for sure true.
I mean,
Padre DHs are historically shitty. Yeah, that is true.
Come at me all you want, but in the since 1969, the Padres have the best DH position they've ever had this year.
Have you considered Brad Hopp's 2010 interleague run?
It wasn't 2010. That's bullshit. It was a different year. But no,
what about
you're
Mitch
right.
Moreland in the quarantine season?
doubles galore, baby. Doubles galore.
Mitchie two bags. Who could forget?
Yeah, dude. I mean, we're comparing to greats like Mitch Moreland, Luke Voigt, Eric Hosmer. I mean, some real legends.
Yeah.
No, it's true. It's absolutely true. I love what's happened. They put it together at a bargain cost. Matt Carpenter was less than Jurickson Profar. I think we would all agree across the panel without discussion. We'd take the Nelly Crew, Matt Carpenter over Profar every single day.
Yeah,
just
and
every day.
Dude, and you pointed it out, Craig, just the clubhouse value that we won't get to see measured in statistics. Matt Carpenter taking Grisham under his wing during workouts. Juan Soto has a fantastic relationship with Jose Azocar, oddly enough, that I just learned about, and you start to see it. So these guys are having tremendous impacts in the clubhouse. I don't know if they're going to be hitting 900 OPS or one dotting all season long, but when they're in the 5 or 6 behind our Mount Crushmore, they're going to knock guys in if they just keep, at this pace or maybe even a little below it.
And by the way, just one last thing on that. Matt Carpenter doesn't have to take, Raphie, all the pitches that he used to take. He used to be a top-of-the-order hitter for the St. Louis Cardinals. He's hitting 6th now as the DH with all of these studs in front of him. Like, he needs to drive in runs. That's his job, right?
Yeah, and the hope, again, is like, the way he's hitting fastballs right now, I haven't looked at the updated numbers, but when we were recording our positive replacement thing, he was putting up like 4.2 runs for every 100 fastballs he had, which is like an insane, number. And if he's getting up to the plate with guys on base, and specifically your Tatises, even your Bogarts, your Cronenworths, just guys who are a threat.
That's exciting
to run.
You cut out on my
And
screen
he's going to
earlier,
see more
so I just
fastballs. It's an
even
incredibly
things out with
potent combination. So I'm eager to see.
Nick Martinez
what
gave up a
happens going
run
forward.
tonight. It's the first time he's given up a run as a reliever so far this year.
There you go. You cut out on my screen for a
He's
second
been
Craig.
incredible. And we've talked last couple of shows about kind of the middling weakness of the Padres bullpen and how Steven Wilson and Tim Hill are getting driven into the ground, and Luis Garcia is a guy you can't 100% count on. And, of course, he gave up the Manfred Man tonight to take the loss. But kind of sucks for Nick Martinez, doesn't it? I mean, he wants to be a starter. He's a pretty dang good starter. His last start was 7 shutout innings. He makes more money if he's a starter. And as a reliever, he makes this team better. Just better than it is otherwise.
I don't know. I don't know that it's like, okay, yes, does he want to be a starter? Sure.
Yeah.
But like, would you rather be performing in the role that you want or the role where you're best? And it's clear.
But prior to that, he had a
his
3-inning
skill set
relief
when he
outing
can
as
throw
well,
his
where he pitched the
changeup,
6th, 7th inning.
30
So,
to
yes.
40% of the time
What
as a
a value.
reliever and come in and face once through the order. Which, by the way, him being already stretched out to be a starter, saw him throw was it 3 innings? He got a save, right? 3 innings of relief in Mexico City.
It was 2. He came in the 8th, down 1.
Okay. He did. Yes.
And you can use him. You can use him on consecutive days too.
Yes, exactly. And what did we say when the season first started and we were kind of looking back at what we'd predicted and be like, oh crap, the bullpen might actually be an issue. Like, this is an area where I'm like, okay, the team is seeing where its areas of deficiency are, and they're reacting, and they're not doing what I think we've seen the organization do in the past, which is you have a major league veteran who wants a role, and so we're going to let him have his role because he's a veteran and he's earned it or whatever. They're saying, no, you go to the bullpen, you're great in the bullpen, do your thing there. Also, by the way, his contract is incentivized to have some things where, like, if you start a certain amount of games, you get this much money. If you're in relief a certain amount of games, you get this much money. So I don't necessarily think from a financial standpoint, it's no skin off his back. And to put a cherry on top, he got his contract. He doesn't have to worry about getting paid. You know what I mean? He opted out and everything worked out and he got the extension that he wanted. So, I love Nick Martinez in the bullpen, especially because
is this a real
who knows
person
what's, Robert Suarez is MIA. Drew
And
Pomeranz, this is the in memoriam Drew Pomeranz
Domingo
podcast,
Tapia is definitely
because
a
he's
real
been
person.
shut down
We
from
now
his
know
throwing
that's
program
not just
again.
a
So I don't know
AI
whether you want to
generated
talk about that.
chat
Spoiler
GPT
alert, everybody!
reliever
Drew Pomeranz is hurt.
for the San Diego Padres. Although, if you told me that at the beginning, I would definitely believe it. But Drew Pomeranz is a bit.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, this is just a bit.
We know
now.
he's real, Craig.
Like,
He's so friggin'
I'll
real.
make 2 rehab starts, and then in the second one, my forearm hurts. By the way, I just ordered patent Oscars for the whole clubhouse, so congratulations. But, I'm so sorry, boss. I don't think I'm gonna I think Kieran Culkin plays Drew Pomeranz in the movie. Just like, hey, I'm just so sorry, boss. I just can't. Just not gonna be able to pitch. So sorry, not gonna be able to do the throwing ball thing. Like, not gonna be
For
able to do
both
that for you guys.
teams.
Just not gonna happen. You're a bit. Don't you dare come for Tim Stoffer's role on post game reserve. Some point down the road. I don't want to see your butt. Tim Stoffer, man, he laid it on the line for this franchise. He laid it on the line. Pomeranz.
Rest in peace, Drew Pomeranz.
I think Drew Pomeranz is going to agree
we
to be on the
hardly
post-game
knew
show with Mike Pomeranz, the Mike Pomeranz, Drew Pomeranz show, all Pomeranz show. And then 15 minutes before, he'll have a headache.
He did. started a playoff
debilitating
game
migraines.
for us. Oh.
Yes.
No. He's cold. He had migraines. Like I said, I'm fine. I'm fine with Drew Pomerantz on the post-game show as long as his
IL
salary this
rated,
year
yeah.
pays for the next 40
Your rating
years
is IL.
of him being the post-game analyst for the bullpen.
We need to issue some Drew Pomerantz bonds, and they're not AAA rated. I can tell you that much.
Yeah, they're called junk.
Some
They
double
already do.
B's. Yeah, exactly.
Well, yeah, the last
Some
thing I wanted to bring
subprime
up
bonds.
on the show is
The Drew Pomerantz
I think a
tranche.
point of great optimism. And it's
We need
gonna
Ryan
start
Gosling
with
just
kind of a
just
hilarious
throwing
mea
the Jenga
culpa
pieces
because,
of the
Chris,
Drew
you've been known
Pomerantz
to make some
bonds.
bad bets.
Oh, this is
in
getting
your-
so specific.
In your
Sorry to everyone.
in your short tenure, exactly. In your short tenure in the betting Discord channel, you've made some bad bets, and then on Sunday, on Sunday morning, I saw you after you recounted some of your poor bets, putting up what was going to be your next
I made
bad
great
bet,
bets.
which was an Austin.
What are you
Will
talking
Austin
about?
Nola
Bad
homer
bets.
on this day, and I'm like, I believe I said to you, don't
What?
waste your money.
This
or
is a
don't
false
do it again,
narrative.
or something like that. At which point I invoked my magic power to reverse causation and probability by calling someone else out on going, that'll never happen. And then immediately, and Austin Nola fucking homered in Mexico City. Unbelievable. Congratulations.
My bad betting. Thank you very much. I said I wanted to see it. I got to see it. The dude has pristine 290-foot power, and in that like high school baseball field, Austin Nola would be a I wouldn't say a 40-40 guy, but he would give up 40 stolen bases. So he'd be a 40-40 guy. Yeah, thank you, Craig. I appreciate it. I made great bets.
Fair.
I bet.
All right, so
And you
Austin
guys
Nola
can see
finally
this
got
in
a
the
homer.
Discord.
I think
I am
did
a
that get his
prolific
OPS
bettor.
to 450?
True.
Raphie?
So there's going to be losses.
No.
You're going to guess some things wrong, like Juan Soto getting the first walk and the Padres winning. But the Padres won.
By the way, as you look
so
that
the
up,
parlay
Raphie, I
doesn't
hope
give
you
me credit,
also
but I
heard
give me credit,
that moment
Craig.
when Blake
That's
Snell
all
was
that
on
matters.
interview with. Did you catch this? Blake's on with Don and Mud, and he literally pointed up
No,
at the auxiliary
doubtful.
scoreboard.
I doubt
And he
it.
was
Hang on,
like,
give me
"Hey,
2 seconds.
Did you
We
guys
didn't get a
see
Jose
that?
Azocar one, but that
Do any of
that's
you
'cause
know
he just
what
didn't play.
WRC plus
He would have
means?
too.
They had no clue. Mud Googled it like a minute in.
I couldn't believe it. Prakoda and I were texting. We were texting and we were like, "This is so offensive. This is insane." And Don and Mud didn't know what it was either. And
That doesn't surprise. No surprise.
Yeah. And for people who aren't in the Discord, my name in the Discord is literally Weighted Raphie Cantor Plus. Like, it is my fucking identity. And I was like, I could not believe it. And the Snell thing is like, it's like Don and Mud. Like, it's like, whatever. Their livelihood
homer
is not
went a
dependent
long
on them knowing
way.
what WRC Plus is. It's fine.
Not
But, like,
physically, just for his
like,
OPS.
Snell, he knows about spin rates, and that's way more complex than WRC plus. That's way crazier. Austin Nola, by the way, we are disrespecting him. He before tonight's
beautiful.
game, he was sporting
It's
a
absolutely
healthy
beautiful.
514 OPS, which by the way, it's a
So
went a
okay,
long way because
this
his
may
OBP
sound like a weird way to drive at this, but
his OBP
I
was
got even
280
more,
and his
like,
slug
I
is
came home last night
234.
feeling
How are
good
you slugging
about
that much
game.
lower than your
Lower?
on
Top of
base
the Mexico City
percentage?
series,
Lower?
seeing it in person, feeling the
You know what?
vibes, ingesting
Thank
it.
you, Austin Nola, for that
And
home
then I was
run.
like
We will
thinking
remember
late
it.
at night, and I dropped it in our
thank you.
Discord, and I don't think anyone reacted because I put it at like 11 o'clock at night. But it's so obvious what's going to happen. And it's exciting to me. This is a great Padres team with one position that completely sucks. Like it's fun almost. Like outfield tremendous. Infield could set the longevity record to break the 70s Dodgers. Starting rotation, lots of cool medium to great options. Bullpen just added bullseye Nick Martinez. Like, we're looking pretty good down there.
Padres catchers
Suarez,
suck? Question mark.
He'll turn up in the third
Exclamation
act
point.
at some point in this Padres movie. He'll pop in with the classic reverse shot save, right, when our hero is down on the ground, the kill from behind. Suarez is here. Everything looks good. And then there's catcher, and it's like that meme of the two fierce dragons and the one dragon with a wacky face, like, whoa! Yeah. And that's our catcher. And it makes me really excited because at the end of July, AJ Preller is going to give up a thing that's not named Jackson Merrill. Because it's not going to take Jackson Merrill just to get a rental catcher.
Outfield, infield, catcher.
Probably. Okay, I just knocked wood. I just knocked the wood fairies out. It's okay. Like, and we're going to get better. Just add a league average catcher to this lineup, and oh my God. Right? Like,
remember what you just said about my betting,
I saw
Craig?
people like going,
the
well,
things
should
that
we
you
sign
say.
Gary Sanchez?
The things that you say have opposite
should
powers.
Should we send Arquis
Thank you.
Fracco?
Thank you.
Like,
That's
he
all I
was a
need.
backup catcher at one point. Almost literally anyone you could sign would improve the Padres at catcher. Please. Yadier Molina. Also, yes, but.
Can I manifest something incredible? Guess who is an unrestricted free agent at the end of this season? No. Well, technically yes. On a team that is trending downwards and maybe selling at the deadline.
He wouldn't cost anything at all. You could probably get him
Chris,
tomorrow.
you invoked them. You invoked them last week and said, "I'm glad we're not fans of this team."
That would be Yasmani Grandal.
Does he have a base hit
That's
this
correct.
year?
Bring him home, baby. He needs to come back.
Yeah, is he hitting well? Is he doing
Yasmani
anything?
Grandal,
The White Sox
unrestricted
are
free
nothing.
agent.
He would cost nothing.
Yeah, and he's expensive. He's making $18 million this year, so they would be happy to get him off of the books.
Yeah.
Other Yasmani Grandal? I have no idea. If you give me a second.
He's not doing well. He's not.
Yeah.
But that doesn't matter. He's on the White Sox.
That doesn't matter. Other potential unrestricted free agents.
We'll see,
Mike Zunino. He's on the Guardians though, so he's
No.
going to be doing well. Speaking of people to bring home, Austin Hedges.
I just want to say,
Dude, Pirates are going to be in the wild card
this
fight.
year.
This
year, his
They're going to need
34
that
season,
Austin Hedges frame
Yasmani
rate.
Grandal, 25
We'll
games.
see.
He's slashing
Mitch
241,
Mitch Garver's on the Rangers.
323,
They won't be selling.
446. His OPS plus.
So yeah, I don't know.
Right?
Those are kind of the only names. That
His
are really
OPS
intriguing.
plus
But, yeah,
is
I mean,
109.
Eyes on Yasmani.
Like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me to add that? Last year, Yasmani Grandal was
Oh my God, that'd be such an
absolutely
improvement.
terrible. Last year, Yasmani Grandal
446
had
is twice as much.
376
I would
plate
kill for that as a
appearances,
catching
and
position.
he slugged.
But he's not doing good.
269.
That's not his best season. Like
Slugged.
that's not his career
Slugged.
numbers.
All right. Now, in his defense, that is
the poop in the poop sandwich because, I mean, 520 the year before, 446 now. Before that, 422, 468, 466, 459, 477. So he's not that, right? He's not a 2-6, but that's what he did last year. So everyone assumes he's dead. Okay, he was hurt. Yes, bring him home. Yes. I mean, expensive though. So can we bring him home and they pay most of it?
He was hurt. Yeah.
I mean, are you kidding me? If you turned Austin Nolan into
with
that.
you, Raphie.
And that's just a guy, right, Raphie? I mean, you're manifesting into the universe, but that's just a guy.
No, it doesn't matter.
That's
it's
just
not our
an
money.
Example
as long as it's not our good prospects, I don't care.
It's a possibility.
Send Turso.
That would be
Turso,
an
we love you.
upgrade
Enjoy Chicago.
for the San Diego Padres. If it's not Yasmani Grandal, it can be someone else. There's someone out there that's going to turn that position from absolute dog shit into a league average contributor or better. And then what? When Grisham and Kim are the two worst hitters in your entire lineup? Like, are you kidding me?
Can I make a radical
I got
suggestion?
one more thing. We still got
go
two more months before all this, and Luis Campusano, his finger is going to get better at some point. Like, the dude's finger is going to heal. We've seen flashes. I mean, this is the Campusano story, right? This is him since he was a top prospect. We've seen flashes, haven't seen consistent results at the MLB level. So it goes back to where we should be at the start of the season. Campusano should be getting half the playing time, and we should be giving this guy a chance to become a major league catcher.
Yeah.
Before we do that.
The league average solution could just be Luis Campusano. And I mean, one of the things we talked about in the catcher episode of Positive Replacement is Fangraphs, when they did their write-up on Luis Campusano before he graduated from being prospect, said you have to take the long view on offensive bat first catchers. And the reason is that in the best scenario, they're getting 50 to 60%
out of the league.
Can I just say, that a normal young and up and coming position
player
player would be. So when he's been playing on the moon for 2 seasons in El Paso, like, it's gonna take him time to adjust to major league pitching. So I'm eagerly looking forward to the moment that he's back, because also right now Austin Nola is playing himself out of a job. Like, I hate to be that, like,
it's true,
like,
facts.
and it sucks. Yeah, out of the league. He's not a catcher right now. Like, he's not, and like, the only reason he's on the team is because he's hurt and there was a sunk cost. But like, especially now with the run game being what it is, like, he brings no value, and it sucks because I'm like, he is someone that I root for, and he does seem like a good guy. I wish him the best,
and I hope,
and I am rooting for his success. But like, this team is to an extent,
I hope that's the solution. And
it's
could
not
be
unserious. It's just that, like, it's the what do you say when you're? It's the definition of insanity.
That's not,
it's like you're just doing the same thing over and over again, rolling this guy out,
hoping it's different.
And so I think when Luis Campusano comes back, we will have another look
and hits. Maybe he'll do that in a year. Maybe he'll do that in 2 years. We're gonna trade for somebody. Like, that's what we're gonna do. AJ Preller hasn't made a trade since the Soto trade, right? Like, he hasn't made a trade. He's dying. But I love, and it's a great place to wrap, like, I love that you bring up a guy like Grandal, because everyone always thinks about the most expensive thing that costs the most, right? You aren't going to have to give up shit for Yasmani Grandal. It's either a single A prospect and you eat half the money, or a double A prospect and you eat all the money. Like, that's what it's going to be for Yasmani. And there'll be, like, good riddance. We signed you to a 4-year contract. You've been kind of average okay once. You've been shit once. Now you're just kind of okay. Like, we'll get rid of you. We're terrible. Good riddance. And Grandal will be like,
Thank God I signed in the North Side. It didn't work out. We suck. We're losing all the time. Get me to a place that's fighting for a World Series. You're going to see the best of me. I get to compete against the Dodgers. Watch me go. That's the team that I was great on. Watch me go after it. I started with the Padres. I want to get here. I want to give the fans something to cheer about. Like, that's going to be great, and it's not going to cost you very much. It's going to be an affordable move that improves the team. And whether it's him or it's someone else, this is coming. It's coming, and it's going to make us better. I'm excited. Oh, thank you. Okay, all right. What?
Well, you've talked about there's not a lot of places to improve the team, Craig. We're locked in on a lot of things. Austin Nola is definitely the area we can improve. No one place we can't improve because we've got the best closer in Padres history right now, and you haven't said his name the whole game. You haven't said his name the whole podcast. I got the proof.
Thank you.
This is the data. This is your Dominion voting system. Craig is silencing me. Josh Hader is the best closer in Padres history right now.
Has he muted
the past
himself?
30 games. That's the big asterisk.
Disconnected?
Not period. He's not a Hall of Famer. He hasn't pitched, into his age 42 season,
brilliant.
pitching
You're gonna make me go
35
get
plus
my-
saves and doing that. But I got the data. Josh Hader is the best of all time, and you won't.
Oh, I think he destroyed the mic. Chris, we can't. We. that was an incredible bit.
Oh, now he's
God.
the one disconnecting. He doesn't want to know. Whoa! It's a Hall of Fame bust of Trevor Hoffman. He's looking at me. I see you, Trevor. I see you. I'm not slandering you, Trevor. I love you, Trevor.
Chris, I think you switched mics or something because we're officially off the rails.
How dare you? That's all I'm saying. How dare you? I've got this Trevor Hoffman Hall of Fame plaque right here in this office.
Anybody
Exactly.
can-
I've been keeping this for years just for this situation.
I'll
Wait.
be at the closers convention with my data. I offer a $5 million prize to anybody who can prove me wrong that these past 30 games of Josh Hader have been the most dominant a Padres closer has been in the history of the team. That's all.
All right. I mean, I was wondering if Kawhi Kirby could have an argument. He had some
Actually,
dominant
yes,
stretches.
He does. He does have an argument. He's the one who has an argument. Yes, he does.
More than Trevor or Mark Davis.
Kirby had an insane stretch where his strikeouts kept pace with Josh Hader's. Trevor Hoffman's strikeouts never kept pace with Josh Hader's. Not in his best years ever. But his ERA certainly did. Kirby Yates is the guy who has an argument.
And Raphie, it'll be a fun thing for you guys to do once your YouTube poll allows you to. But Hader's completely changed what he's doing this year. He's just throwing a fastball. That's it. It's like 97% fastball, 3% changeup.
Yeah, and I mean, he's telling guys basically, okay, go ahead and hit it. John Percoda made a nice YouTube short that was an overlay of Hader's fastball and slider and really slowed down. And it's just like that he's been working, obviously, on his arm slot. That was a concern when he came over here, that his arm slot was different and that his mechanics were all fast up, blah, 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 blah. You just go and watch the eye test of that short on our YouTube, and you see, like, it's damn near impossible to hit a baseball that's coming out of Josh Hader's hand, and it's because the ride and the physical characteristics that he has on his fastball are rarely matched in the game. So I'm eagerly looking forward to the conspiracy tape that we get from Chris in the future with the red string and the corkboard. You say you got the strings?
I've got the strings and the tacks.
I believe it. But no, Hader's been amazing.
Yeah.
Wilson's been good. Martinez has been dynamite. I'll even include tonight. He gave up a 2-out hit.
Like, he gave up a couple hits with 2 outs. Like, he's not going to be perfect, right? He's not Trevor Hoffman, for God's sakes, or Kawhi Kirby, for that matter.
But that's who we got behind us. If something happens to Josh Hader, what did happen with did I adjust my thing?
I don't know. Yeah,
Is
you
my mic
went,
all
like,
screwed up, Raphie? I'm just going to stop talking then.
It's all right.
Yeah.
The mic said it's time.
the mic said it's time. Padres hot tub. We're at the end. Hey, we did the optimism podcast, and people are like, well, that was way too pessimistic. Like, listen to this show. It's all coming up Millhouse, man. I thought May 15th. Well, I guess we lost tonight. But things are going, man. This team's starting to click. Starting to feel like Matthew McConaughey. Thumb. Just feel that rhythm. Let's go, Padres. Let's go. Padres hot tub.